Hey everybody, welcome back to 10 to Life. My name is Elise, and I am here to break down a true crime case for you. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Today's case is one that I actually had no intention of talking about, not for any particular reason. I just didn't know much about it. I didn't know that I would be very helpful in spreading the word on it. I'm sorry, this pillow's knocking me. I felt like some people had already covered it, but I guess not enough. And so it wasn't really on my radar. But I recently posted a video today, as a matter of fact, and the comment section was flooded with asking me to cover this particular case. The reason why is because so many of you viewers saw similarities between that case that aired today, which was the Carly Gousset case, and the one that you are requesting that I cover, which, if you haven't guessed it by now, and if you're not one of those people that requested it, it's the case of Chelsea Grimm. Now, after you requested this case, I started researching it, and it's also pretty close to home because she left San Diego, California, which is just south of where I am in Orange County. But as I started researching it, there were a lot of things that not that didn't make sense, but had me step back and think, that doesn't really feel right. That doesn't really, I guess, make sense. A lot of people have wondered if this could be a potential mental health crisis, but then there's a lot of other people, including some friends and family, that speculate that it actually might be rooted more closer to home. So I researched far and wide everywhere I could, got the body cam footage, some surveillance footage, all of these things, and I'm really going to try my best to break it all down for you from start to finish. I also am going to talk at the end, or towards the end, I should say, a little bit about some of the questions that are surrounding this case, some of the unsettling details that I picked up on to where I was like, this doesn't feel right, and also some of the theories that are going on out there right now about this case because it still is unsolved and Chelsea is still missing. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right in. Recently, I learned something that I ignorantly never knew was a thing, and that is the importance of gut health. You see, our gut health is connected to our brain, and it controls everything, our energy, our mood, all of it. It's incredible how our gut plays just such a crucial role in our overall well-being. That's why taking care of our gut health is more important than ever, and that is where colon broom comes in. See, colon broom is the key to a healthy gut and so much more. Colon broom works as a prebiotic, nourishing our healthy gut bacteria and promoting a balanced gut environment. Now, I'll be honest, and maybe it's a little TMI, but here it goes. For as long as I can remember, I have struggled with bloat and being regular, truly, since I was probably like 13 years old. So when I first tried colon broom, it was like a whole new world for me. So say goodbye to bloating, digestion issues, and pesky problems like keeping regular with colon broom. Colon broom is here to support your digestive system and keep it running smoothly. Feel lighter and flush the waste. But get this, the benefits don't stop there. Colon broom helps you stay nourished and full and is such an easy addition to your diet. It's incredible how something as simple as taking care of our gut can have such a positive impact on our overall health. With colon broom, you'll experience a clean and regular intestinal tract like never before. It's like hitting that reset button and giving your gut the care that it deserves. And let's also not forget about cholesterol, because colon broom helps lower bad LDL cholesterol levels, ensuring that your heart stays healthy. Get colon broom with more than 65% off and claim my special offer plus an extra 10% off. Join the biggest sale yet and get 6 months worth of colon broom for up to 70% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Use code 10TOLIFE to get an extra 10% off for your whole order. Click the link in the description below and grab your discounted batch of colon broom while stock lasts. So 10 to Lifers, let's prioritize our gut health and give colon broom a try. It's time to take control of our well-being from the inside out. Your gut will thank you later. It is amazing. It'll make you feel amazing. Trust me. The mysterious disappearance of 32-year-old Chelsea Grimm from San Diego, California, has left her family, friends, and authorities deeply concerned. Chelsea's cross-country road trip originally was intended to celebrate a friend's wedding in Connecticut, and it took an unexpected and very dangerous turn. You see, Chelsea's trip began on September 24th, 2023, when she left from her San Diego home. Initially, she had planned to take a flight to Connecticut for this wedding, which we know is a common choice for long-distance travel, right? It's always easier to fly than drive if you can afford it. However, for Chelsea, there was a sudden obstacle that kind of foiled this plan, because these airlines weren't going to allow Chelsea to bring her beloved bearded dragon Roxy on the plane. So this challenge prompted Chelsea to make a last-minute decision to now drive across the country instead of fly, determined to ensure that her pet Roxy could accompany her on this journey to Connecticut, to this wedding. And Chelsea's mother, Janet, has spoken directly on this, and she said, and I quote, "She was originally going to fly, but because she recently acquired a bearded dragon as a pet and the airlines would not let her take that animal on the plane the day that she was supposed to fly east for the wedding, she called and said, 'I'm going to drive across the country.' And she said, 'I have packed my car, I have my tent, I have my sleeping bag, I might spend a couple nights in a hotel, I might camp, we are going to sort of see how it goes,' that kind of thing." Now, her dad has said that she hasn't done much camping since she was a teenager, so that plan was a little bit unusual. Now, the first leg of her almost 3,000-mile journey across the country led Chelsea to Phoenix, Arizona, where she met up with a friend on September 27th. Now, at this point, it had only been 3 days into this cross-country drive, and in 3 days, Chelsea had only traveled around 400 miles, or around 5 hours of driving time, putting her in Arizona, which, as you know, is, a neighboring state right here to California, a very quick drive. Throughout her trip, even though it had only been short at this point, she maintained intermittent communication with her parents, who followed her progress and even her evolving plans, and that was no different on this particular day of September 27th, 3 days into her journey. Her mom, Janet, said, "We last talked on the 27th in the afternoon, and she said, 'I'm not going to make it to Connecticut in time for the wedding, so I'm probably going to camp for a couple of days.'" And her mom said, "So for a couple of days, we didn't even think about her. She told us that she would be offline, and we knew that she'd be in an area of Arizona where there wasn't any good spot for communication or reception, so we didn't really think much of it." Now, on that same day, the same day that she called her mom, Chelsea checked into a hotel in Seligman, Arizona. Now, it was at this point, which was a pivotal key moment in this case, it was at this point that she hinted at her intention to remain off the grid during her travels. Surveillance video from this hotel shows Chelsea indicating that she wants to stay off the grid, and she was also inquiring about paying using euros, which, of course, is not United States currency. Moreover, in this video, she also mentions the possibility of changing her name, adding an air of mystery and intrigue to what her adventure was now evolving into.
Unless you take euros, or anyone in town exchanges euros. I was trying to stay off the grid. I don't really want. That's the problem. I was hoping not to use the card.
In addition to this bizarre behavior, which was certainly not characteristic of who Chelsea is, little did anybody know that shortly after speaking to her mother, Chelsea also canceled a lunch date with that same friend that she had met up with that day, a lunch date that she had planned on having the very following day. Now, the most significant turning point in Chelsea's journey occurred when she was captured on police body cam footage the very next day after this hotel incident on September 28th. This incident was near Williams, Arizona. An alert citizen had reported a suspicious person in a vehicle that was parked near a cemetery and a war memorial, so this prompted a police response on that call. Upon arrival, officers found Chelsea inside her car, and also Roxy, her bearded dragon, perched beside her. Now, during her interaction with the officer, Chelsea explained that she had been engaging in a photography project that was focused on missing soldiers, and this had apparently evoked very strong emotions, leading to tears and then her sitting in her car to collect herself before she resumed driving.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I just was doing a photo shoot of the lost soldiers and got a little emotional, so I was crying before I got...
I'm just making sure someone called it in, so...
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're quite all right. I mean...
I was just doing a photo shoot, yeah. Packed up. I'm going to leave soon.
Okay.
But I just didn't want to drive like that. Sad.
I got you. You've been smoking a little bit of marijuana?
Earlier today, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have your license on you by any chance?
Yeah.
It gets me all emotional, too.
Yeah, it's just, I'm trying to do a series on the lost and the forgotten people in this country.
I know you told me that you smoked marijuana and you're kind of, well, obviously I would be in an emotional state as well. I don't know if you want somebody else to drive you or if you just want to hang out here for a little bit longer, you're more than welcome to do that.
Yeah, if it's okay with you, if I hang out here for another like 15 or 20 and then head on the road, that would be my plan,
Sure.
I think.
Yeah, I don't see any signs of impairment or anything like that, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, with my eyesight and then crying, it's not the best combination at night.
I totally
I was like,
understand.
I'm just gonna like cry on the road, or I'm just gonna sit here and cry. So I
got
have
you.
my dragon, and I'm just.
Oh, that's freaking cool! I didn't even notice that.
Thanks, Rosie.
Wow, Rosie,
I
that's.
think she's asleep.
Wow, right on.
She got bored.
Yeah. Do you have like a hotel around here or anything?
I don't. I was actually thinking of just camping for the night, but I wasn't really sure exactly yet.
Gotcha.
Well, I didn't plan to be here until sunset.
Okay, you can't camp in the city limits. It's kind of like a city statute we have.
Okay, good to know.
But you can always go. I don't know if you can see like the yellow lights over there, the Loves. It's a trucker stop in the gas station area. You can just sleep there. Nobody will bother you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yes.
I get some good shots at sunrise too there.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sunrise here too. If you ever want to take photo shoots of like the statues in the morning, dude, it's really cool because the sun like rises right behind them.
Amazing. Okay, I'll probably stay at the truck stop then, save some money, and then come over for the sunrise.
You got it.
Cool.
All right. Well you have a
what's your
great
name?
time.
Now, as you can say, she was definitely hyper emotional in that video. And this is really what starts to set the tone for what comes next. Because what's very alarming is that same day of this footage was also the last day that there was any activity on her credit card or on her phone. 2 days later, Chelsea apparently had a brief encounter with a woodcutter in Ash Fork, Arizona. Now, according to the woodcutter, Chelsea did not appear to be in any sort of distress, and she also even politely declined his offer for assistance. Her demeanor and her actions had suggested that she was physically well and that she didn't require any immediate help. It wasn't any sort of red flag. But then, the unfolding mystery took a very dark turn. And this was just a few days later on October 5th when Chelsea's car was discovered. A white 2019 Ford Escape with 2 flat tires was parked abandoned in Kaibab National Forest. Now this is when everything kind of broke right open because everybody at this point now knew she's not just camping, she's not just in a place with no cell service, her car has now been found with 2 flat tires. And even more than that, the contents of what was still left inside and what was not left inside made everything all the more suspicious. So this discovery prompted her parents to file a missing persons report, heightening concerns about her safety and her well-being. So, as I mentioned, although her car was found, notably Chelsea had taken essential items with her, including her wallet, her phone, her sleeping bag, and, most importantly, Roxy, her beloved bearded dragon. So it indicated that this was a voluntary departure from her car, and also possibly with a purposeful intention. She was going somewhere. She had her sleeping bag. She had pet Roxy with her. She had her wallet. She was going somewhere where she knew she was going to need shelter, money. She didn't want to leave Roxy alone. It seemed very purposeful. However, a key piece of evidence that was left behind during all of this was her camera. The camera that she was using to take all sorts of photos while she was out and about, on the road, at the memorial, all of the things. Also, a photo that was a selfie right before she disappeared. So this was starting to feel a little bit weird, right? Her dad had suggested that perhaps she got a ride from somebody else, even saying there's a chance that she got a ride out of there. That's why she didn't leave anything behind. She took her things with her. She did leave her camera behind, but maybe it's because she didn't think she was going to immediately need it because she was just going somewhere in the short term, which we're going to get to that in a few moments here. But by all accounts, something not really adding up here. Another key piece of evidence, which I know I mentioned the credit card and the phone, but her family says that Chelsea's cell phone had been turned off since September 28th or the 29th, which was days before her car was discovered. Chelsea's family, of course, remains deeply troubled by her disappearance, particularly due to her strong bond with animals, and also her unwavering commitment to ensuring Roxy's well-being. Her family has said that Chelsea has always had a special spot in her heart for children, for elderly people, and for animals, and that she would never leave an animal in a car. She just wouldn't do it. So they think that that is a hopeful sign, that she took Roxy with her wherever she was going. So at the top of this video, I mentioned that there has been a lot of speculation about Chelsea's mental health and it being a contributing factor in all of this. However, there are also more instincts that the root of her disappearance may actually be linked closer to home. Friends have said that Chelsea's behavior prior to leaving San Diego was a bit out of the ordinary, that she would call some of them at very late hours in the night, and that when she would call them, she was also very sad, that her demeanor was a little bit different than usual. They also reported that her social media activity was very strange in the days leading up to her leaving San Diego, saying that she was posting a lot of photos of very, very intense Bible verses, which wasn't like her normal behavior at all. Further stating that she had highlighted multiple lines on all of these pages in the Bible, and had even made handwritten comments right on the sides of the pages in the margins, suggesting that it actually may have been a prelude to a manic episode. Her father also admitted that her overall demeanor had been a bit abnormal as of late, saying, and I quote, "She seemed pretty uneven that last day or two. She was upset with the boy that she was dating. She was scared of him. We feel like she was running away from him. And I think overall that was affecting a lot of her mindset." Now, Chelsea's sister Sarah McCarthy Grimm also warned Facebook followers that Chelsea's ex-boyfriend was also claiming to be her fiance, and that he had apparently set up a phony GoFundMe to help with the search. So obviously some red flags in that area with the boyfriend. Does it mean that he's guilty or had some sort of hand in all this? Certainly not. But it does kind of maybe contribute to overall mental state. But again, we'll get there in a second. So now speaking about the discovery of her car really quick. Her car was on a forest road, but no report was made that I have been able to find about how far off the main road it was found specifically. However, if she had 2 flat tires and possibly a dead cell phone or no service in that area, I think that it is safe to assume that she would need to walk somewhere in order to get help to replace her tires, because she probably would only have maybe, 1 spare. Even that, maybe she didn't know how to change a tire. I don't know. But if she's off the beaten path and there's no vehicle, it's not a busy road, she would have to probably walk, right? So if so, could she have been intercepted during that walk? Because it also wasn't a highly populated road to where the thought of her being hit accidentally by another car, it just doesn't really seem too plausible. However, if she took her wallet, she took her phone, she also took Roxy with her, it would indicate, or at least to me, that it's possible that she was trying to intentionally get somewhere to safety, perhaps bringing her sleeping bag with her, knowing that it was going to be a long walk to find a gas station or a cafe or a maintenance shop or whatever she was looking for, or just a phone in general, a payphone. So possibly taking her sleeping bag with her, knowing that it was going to be that long walk and that she might need to take a break to sleep for a few hours or stay warm during the night. So during that, could somebody have come face to face with her, and could this be foul play? Because something that sticks out to me is the fact that she left her camera behind, which we know she used regularly. And I'm just putting myself in her shoes, not assuming there was any sort of mental health crisis. But if I was off the side of the road or in the wooded area or wherever, and I got 2 flats, my phone was dead or I didn't have service, I needed to walk somewhere to get service, I needed to walk somewhere to get a repair shop or a tow or whatever it is, and I had a pet with me. The things that I would bring with me would be my phone, hoping that as I'm walking I get service, or if I needed to charge it. I'd bring my wallet because I would have to pay the tow station or use somebody else's phone, or, you need money to make things like this happen because there's not always good Samaritans. And if I had a pet with me, I would certainly bring my pet. Now, if I was deep into this wooded area and I didn't know what direction I was going, I didn't know when I was going to come across a working phone or a person or help, I may, depending on the time of night, bring my sleeping bag with me as well, being like, it's going to be cold out, it's a September night, it's kind of in the desert, it's in the wooded area, or I'm just going to need to sleep, whatever the reasons are. But if I was only going to get help for whether it's a phone call, a tire replacement, whatever it is, I wouldn't bring all of my belongings with me, because my plan would be to get back to my car once I found help, right? So to me, and again, this is just my thinking, putting myself in her shoes, but to me, that explains why she would leave her camera behind and not those other items, because those other items, including Roxy, are necessities for wherever she was going, whatever objective she had where she was going. Her vehicle was also reportedly locked, leading police not to believe that it was foul play. Once more, if you're leaving your car to go get help, you would lock it behind you, right? You're leaving your valuables in there, you're leaving your camera in there, but you have every intention on coming back. So that's, again, just my personal opinion, and that's kind of where my mind started to go with that. However, something else that stuck out to me that, I haven't completely reconciled in my mind, is possibly wondering, did that emotional state that the police found her in when she had been taking photos of the lost soldiers have any sort of correlation to the Bible verses that she was said to have been hyper-fixated on? Was something about death, the Bible, all of these things just weighing on her emotional state? If she was truly beginning to slip into a manic episode, could those have been contributing factors? And I mean, the truth of the matter is none of us know, but that's why we're talking, right? It's to get the ideas flowing, to hopefully generate a tip. Somebody sees something, somebody heard something, a lead comes. We're all just kind of talking out loud, sharing our thoughts, right? So fearing the absolute worst, Chelsea's family has enlisted the services of a private detective to help complement the police's search efforts. They've said it has nothing to do with not thinking that the police are, well equipped to handle this case, but really just to help aid in their search efforts. Now, I will say this. It has been alleged that the investigators and the family have decided to bring in a trafficking organization to conduct further search efforts. I've heard this, I've seen it, however, I haven't personally been able to verify this. However, what I do want to say is because of that detail, it has been suggested on various online forums that if that organization is getting involved in the search, that it might have to do with the euros that were used, where they were obtained from, why they were used, and that it adds this international element to the disappearance and to the case, therefore a potential link to potential trafficking or international organized crime, something like that. Now again, this is purely speculation at this point, but like I said, I'm just trying to share everything I've gathered, some of the theories and thoughts out there just to get the dialogue going. It's clear that this case is full of twists and turns that really make you scratch your head and wonder. So with that, I want to dive into some of the questions and the potential theories that many of you have been emailing me or DMing me with, starting with the euros that I just mentioned, the euros in Arizona. Many are wondering why on earth would Chelsea have euros with her during a road trip across the United States? Not only why would she want to use them in that moment, but why would she have them with her initially? Because it's not like she would need to use them to buy gas, to buy snacks, get a hotel room like we're seeing. So could this mean that there is more to her story than meets the eye? Why travel intentionally with euros, or were those something that she picked up along the way? Also, there's not a lot of details about the friend that she met up with. Not trying to throw anybody under the bus here or bring speculation, but I am wondering, and tell me, correct me if I'm wrong if you've seen this, is that friend from the United States? Do they use euros? Could she have gotten the euros from them the day before? Not for any, horrible, shady, weird reasons, but could that explain why she even had euros to begin with? I don't know. So moving now into the comment that she had made about surviving off the grid, and also the fact that it's now been well over 2 months and she still is technically off the grid. Well, what about surviving with a bearded dragon when you're off the grid? Because carrying a bearded dragon around for a month or now 2 months while supposedly being off the grid does raise eyebrows, because how would she manage to do that with no apparent access to food, shelter, or any transportation? And unfortunately, Roxy hasn't been found, so we don't know how that situation ended. But speaking of Roxy, a lot of people are wondering if there is a hidden meaning behind Chelsea's decision to take Roxy with her. Did she intend on getting help for her car and then resuming her journey, like I mentioned before? Or was this just a fleeting decision? If she was in a manic episode or on the brink of something, did she just grab things that she loved most, but why wouldn't she bring her camera? Why the decision to bring Roxy? I know her family said she would never leave animals behind and loved animals, but to me, again, I'm not an investigator, I'm not a professional, I'm just, a true crime keyboard detective at best. But to me, there's a reason why she didn't bring her camera with her, and I don't think it's some nefarious reason. I don't think there's a lot of hidden meaning behind it, not at all. I think it's that she planned. I think she had every intention on coming back to her car. That's why she left the camera behind and locked the doors behind her. That's what I believe. Could she have been shuffled off in a moment or left in a fleeting moment and just accidentally left it behind? Possibly. But then why not accidentally leave behind a sleeping bag or a phone or a wallet? There's just something that's hanging me up on that. And maybe I'm breathing too much life into it, but that's just my personal feeling, my gut instinct, my instinct as a 36-year-old woman. She's 32 years old. That's where my mind would go. Again, who knows, right? But let's continue with some of these questions and theories that you guys have sent in. One is she hiding something or escaping something? or someone. Because Chelsea's disappearance makes you wonder if she's deliberately avoiding contact and trying to escape from someone or something. We've heard about the concerns about the ex-boyfriend, and there also have been some allegations of some of the choice of friends that she keeps and them not being exactly a great crowd and possibly dabbling in with some nefarious practices such as substances and things of that. Now, that's not to say Chelsea did any of that, but just kind of the company she keeps. So could that be a factor in it? Could she be running from them for some reason? Could she be running from the boyfriend? What could have pushed her to take such drastic measures if she left on her own volition? Now, with the name change mystery, mentioning the possibility of wanting to change her name, changing her name during the trip is a very interesting twist in all of this. Now, what's the motive behind wanting a new identity? Is it connected to her troubles? Or is there something more to it? Again, wanting to go off the grid, maybe hiding from someone. I don't know. Needless to say, I think we all can agree that the emotions involved within this situation and Chelsea's disappearance are something to raise concern about. The emotions in the mix are pretty alarming. Chelsea's emotional state, especially regarding the rocky relationship, seems to have influenced her decisions. Whether it influenced her actual disappearance, it certainly seemed to influence her behavior, her demeanor, her actions leading up to her even leaving San Diego. So how deep did her emotions run? And did they lead her down this path? Or again, was there another factor involved? These questions really make Chelsea Grimm's disappearance a confusing one, and it's hard not to wonder about what's really going on and whether or not she's safe. Though the exact reasons behind Chelsea's abrupt, vanishing disappearance remain a mystery, her emotional state and the series of the unconventional choices leading up to her disappearance continue to deeply confuse all of those people who knew her, her friends, her family, and now all of us on the outside who are just trying to help find this poor woman. So as the days have now turned into weeks and now into months, there still has been no sign of Chelsea Grimm. And her family, her friends, and even the authorities are left in a state of just anxious uncertainty. They are continuing in their relentless search for answers, hoping that the mystery surrounding her disappearance will eventually be unraveled and that Chelsea will be safely reunited with her loved ones. But so far, there aren't any credible leads or tips. So all we can do, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, all we can do is share her photo, share this video, share her story, share her case, because if she was on foot and left and she was not intercepted anywhere, there is, yes, a lot of land, a lot of forest, a lot of desert, a lot of things in the Arizona area, which way you go. But it's hard for me to think that after 2 months, not a single sighting, discovery, a recovery, anything like that has happened. But surely somebody has seen or knows something, especially if there is any sort of nefarious element involved in this, then certainly somebody knows more than they're letting on. But again, that's my long-winded way to say, the least we can do is share her photo, her story, the videos, because certainly a young woman walking with a bearded dragon is not something you see every day. So if somebody has seen her, surely it would spark a memory. And hopefully that would help start building a timeline, a map of sorts, something so that her family can get answers and so that hopefully Chelsea will be reunited with her family safely. I appreciate you guys bringing this case to my attention. I am hopeful that we will learn more and that she will be safely found and rescued and there will be answers in her case, but I will make sure to keep you updated. I hope that this coverage did it justice. Again, I know a lot of the time you guys know a lot more than I do about any of these cases that are current events happening right now. I tried to research from all corners as best as I could, but if you have other information or other details or facts or theories or thoughts or whatever it is, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll make sure to include those in future updates and we can all just kind of get the conversation going and hopefully find Chelsea. All right, thank you guys again for tuning into today's case, and until the next one, stay safe. Bye.